What's going on in Los Angeles? According to Bazi Chinese Astrology, that is what we are going to unpack today. So welcome. My name is Lydia Griffith. This is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. On this channel, I often like to read the charts of famous people, sometimes countries. This time it's a city, because I think it helps us to better understand our own astrology and our own lives. So welcome. If this sparks interest for you, please subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. So welcome. There is a lot happening in the United States right now. It is an amazing time. And so I wanted to look at what's happening there, because I think what's happening in Los Angeles is kind of, I think the term is bellwether. It is that it represents the larger narrative of what's happening. And so we don't have a birth time, but we do have the incorporation time for LA as April 4th, 1850. Now, so we don't have four pillars, which means we can't see the hour. The hour would tell us about the work ethic, and it would tell us about the youth and the young people. But I think there's enough here to unpack a pretty interesting story. So part of this, I will say, that the astrology, according to, again, Bazi, is there are these benefits that are then countered by challenges. And so it's almost like you're getting a hand of help. And then just as you are like, oh, okay, and you reach for it, it's like, psych, maybe not. And so I've seen that peppered throughout the situation. And I think there's something about the resilience, because that, I think, is what is built over time when we are dancing between benefit and challenge. We find resilience in order to lean more towards that which we want to achieve. So let's look at the three pillars we've got. We've got a yang metal dog for the year. We have a yin earth rabbit for the month, and a yin wood rooster for the day. One of the things you're looking for in a chart is how the five elements flow. Without the hour, we're missing. It's kind of like trying to drive a car with three tires. It's like you've got 75% of the information. We don't have all of it. But according to what we have, there is no water in this chart. And the day pillar being everything, the day pillar is represented by that stem of yin wood. So underneath yin wood, we've got the rooster, that's yin metal, which is its adversary. It challenges it. So within the day pillar, and if this were your chart, it would be your loves, your husbands, partners, romantic people. But in a city or a country setting, we have to shift those relationships to how we are getting along with one another. And that is something where there is sovereignty. And this is me as someone from Los Angeles. And then there is challenge within the relationships. So it is a city in which the people can find themselves in adversity with one another, critical of one another, oppressive of one another, So there is that. The next piece is that the month of the rabbit is the enemy of the rooster. So you have the parents of the city, the people who incorporated it, the powers that be, the government, right? In the United States chart, who are our parents? England, okay? So when we look at this, we've got the people of LA and its parents, the government, as being their adversary. So you see there is this fighter quality just ingrained in this city. The yin earth sitting in the placement of the father is actually where the father is sitting as yin earth. So it's in its correct placement. And this really speaks of, yes, we were incorporated by patriarchal system, a father, right? And again, translating this to a geographical place, this is the authority that created it. And it is also the rabbit is the people of LA. So there is also this feeling of like, it's like a credit union, right? Where the people that put their money in the bank have part ownership of the bank. It is that the people are invested in the leadership of the city. But again, there is this conflict going on. The year as the dog shows that also they are going to be fighting for justice. The overarching flavor, which is our year that we're born, is very much about fighting for justice, standing up for the underdog, and fairness. So all of that is the built-in landscape of what it is to be somebody living in this city. It's pretty amazing. And so when we look at the current luck cycle, it is a yin fire rooster. And they came into this luck cycle in 2020. This is a yin fire rooster. So this is a go time. That fire, as a city that is their element is yin wood, fire is what motivates, takes action. So it's a very action-oriented time from 2020 to 2030. And it is also, again, with that rooster there, challenging and showing how through adversity the people rise. This is the blueprint of this city. Now I want to look at the interesting mark, my God, of the day that the peaceful, let's emphasize that word, peaceful protests began. Was on the first day, according to the Chinese calendar, of June. Friday, June 6th, 2025. Yinwood snake for the year. The month of Yang water horse and the day of Yang fire horse. All of that fire was what pulled everybody onto the street that could and wanted to be there. And that is the beauty of a democracy, right? Absolutely. So the Yang fire of that day is change. It is like the call of the revolution, the call for renovating something, innovating something, creating something, taking action that leads to needed change. And the yin fire of the double horses is go, like green light, go. Tucked into the horse is a lesser element of earth that is the patriarchy, authority. So that is all very interesting. Now, the month with the yang water, even though that water, and again, going on the information we have, their Bazi does not have water that we know of, so that yang water is helpful and shows up as the government and law enforcement. Fascinating, yeah? So is it a good thing? Well, government and law enforcement can be, except when it's corrupted. And that water is surrounded by fire. So it is challenged. It is action. Like if you look at the 3 pillars of that day, Friday, you've got double fire. So you can imagine visually that it is like a bonfire burning over here. And then we've got a little fire down here with a waterfall trying to come down. And the year of the snake is yang fire. And you've got that little bitty yin wood drowned by the yang water, and that wet, limp little bit of wood trying to feed all that fire. So what does that all mean? That the water and the wood are pretty much impotent because there is so much fire in this month of June. And I talked about this in the month ahead video I did. This month is going to go fast because fire moves fast. And anybody that's seen a fire, when something is lit, it moves faster than you can believe. So there's all of this fire. There is all of this inflamed mood pulling people into action. And this year of the snake for Los Angeles is all about revolutionary change. And again, that revolutionary change can be in the smallest of ways, like collectively, maybe there is some new innovative way that they look at transportation in the city, just saying. Maybe they're looking at bringing in more farmers and building up farmers markets. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. But the thing is, it's like from the small to the big, collectively, there is systemic change working its way through the people that live and work in LA. Now, the interesting thing would be to look at your own Bazi Astrology, which I can happily do for you, and look at how your astrology lays over the astrology. You can look at the United States, or you could look at your city, if we can find that information, because it is a very interesting thing to look at. Like, for instance, wouldn't it be an interesting thing to look at where you're living, and if maybe since you've moved there, you've done nothing but struggle, and then you look at the astrology of the place you live and realize it's working against you. It's not a place you could thrive. There are so many ways you can use astrology to benefit your life and to course your life in a thriving direction. Now, we have got all of this big, big fire pulling, motivating towards change. That yin wood of the year, like I said, is so beleaguered in this current month. And that represents the people of LA. And so it really speaks of, this is, and again, this isn't going to affect everybody. It's a giant city. And where all the peaceful protests are happening is in a small area. We've got to remember, friends, you make enough news stories, you create a reality. And enough millions of people put their eyeballs on those videos, they're going to believe that's reality. So look at where you're sourcing your news. And if you find your nervous system is completely freaking out over all of this, take a break. Find ways to not only soothe your nervous system in healthy ways, like being out in nature and taking a walk or doing mindful breaths, but also to get engaged and seeing what you can do to be part of this narrative for positive change, right? What can you do? We can all do something. So let's move forward. So that day absolutely speaks of exactly what happened. The start of peaceful protesting towards change. We do not want these ICE people coming and dragging innocent people out of their workplace, out of schools, out of their homes, off the streets, and without due process, which is written in our Constitution. So let's go ahead. We then got into the 7th, Saturday, a yin fire sheep. And now the sheep is bringing in more authority. So there are more people on the street. This whole thing is growing. And there is that patriarchal presence in this narrative. At the root of Saturday is the LA people standing sovereign. We get to Sunday, a yang earth monkey. The monkey brings in a semi-fire penalty with the year of the snake. And so this is bringing up the threat of legal action, prosecution, arrests, violence, injury. This was where things could have turned, and maybe they did turn a little dangerous. Throwing of rocks, setting cop cars on fire. We have to remember, if we stay in our agency and we use our voices, but we use our hands in prayer or holding a sign rather than throwing things and being violent, then we're on the right path. So Sunday was a very tricky day. It's a day about property, about economy. It's about responsibility and duty. There is also within that day, Sunday for LA, some government stuff going on, legal things happening under the scene. Then Monday, it's a yin earth rooster. This is where you've got patriarchy on top of challenge, opposition, criticism, judgment, and there is this authority over you. So this is where it feels like things could be escalating, but the 10th, the President of the United States usurped Governor Newsom's authority. And let me just say, this is astrology and humanity. This reading has nothing to do with my opinion. It is astrology and humanity. This is not about party lines anymore, and it is not about red and blue anymore. This is about what it means to be American, you and me. That's it. So be super kind and respectful in your comments, please. Thank you. So the day that the National Guard was unfortunately sent in with the false narrative that there was violence and mayhem, that yang metal coming in, and just in the elements alone, when you have yang metal sitting on top of yang earth, traditionally earth is government and yang metal is like military. This is a day about responsibility and duty to family, home, work, everything that you are responsible for and hold space for. And this is according, again, to the LA Astrology. It's about their ability to thrive. And there is hidden danger from authority within it, within the dog. And the fact that it was a day of the dog in and of itself is a bump to their year of the dog, and it is a day of movement. So then we got to the 11th, a day of the pig. And the pig is, again, that yang water, which is government and law enforcement, which today, this day of the rat, it's a yang water rat. It's a double water day. It is all about government, law, and who is helping. Who are the helpers? That are coming in. So there is huge support for Los Angeles happening right now in their astrology. So this is what I have. And I think this whole thing is absolutely fascinating. I also wanted to mention that the United States is born in the hour of a rooster. And it made me think that it's as if, because LA is born on the day of a rooster, it's like their child. You know, that LA is the child of the US. And it brings in the youth. Also, remember that the rooster is a zodiac animal that is very much about being seen, being heard, being a little cocky, strutting their stuff, very much on stage, taking the spotlight, It's not surprising that this is a big area for the entertainment industry. It's also interesting to note that this is a city. I wanted to just bring in a little correlation with the United States. So when we look at the personality of Americans, according to the astrology of the United States, and we look at the personality specific to LA, there are two very strong signatures. One being that both are survivors, fighters, can't sit still, will go to the point of burnout. God, doesn't that just sound like Americans? And very competitive, flamboyant, or flashy, chases after their desires, very adventurous and spirited, backed into a corner, coming out fighting. And both are leaders. Don't tell us what to do. We've got it. Drop the mic moment. That's it. And also that the way that we, again, this is collectively respond, is inflamed. We tend to be very passionate people that are very outspoken, can get us into some trouble, can come off as aloof, self-centered, and arrogant. The other thing about LA that's different from the United States is they have a signature that is very much about, again, working towards success to the point of burnout, or working so hard that you wind up with, stress-related illnesses, for instance. It's almost like your drive to succeed is just like, whoa, ease up there. And the gift of Los Angeles, the people that live there, is the desire to help others succeed. It's very inspiring, and also has a real gift for communication in all forms, and also a great sense of humor, even if it can be sassy. So I thought this was an interesting thing to take a look at. And it's a very interesting time. And I think that one of the things, about LA, it's a Lu pattern chart, which means that it's destined for wealth and success. But like I was saying earlier, it doesn't work because of the conflict between the rabbit and the rooster. The other thing I wanted to say is that today, being this rat day, forms one of those weird penalties with the month of the rabbit in their astrology. And this is a day when relationships can get really weird. You think somebody is coming in to help you, and all of a sudden they're harming you. That is the clearest way to explain a rabbit-rat penalty. You think that somebody is coming in to help you, and they wind up hurting you. And my prayerful wish is that, as I said, this month feels like it's going to go fast. I think a lot is going to happen in this month. It's very hard for me to see beyond the moment these days because so much is happening so fast and the energy is so high. So again, I know there's a lot to feel right now, but if you're going to go out and protest, hold a sign or hold hands with somebody. Let's keep it peaceful. Okay. I hope you found this interesting, and these are strong people. And what they are showing us is what we can impart throughout the United States as these No King marches and protests happening on Saturday the 14th are growing in number. I think there were 50 when I last looked, and now it's like over 1,500. So here we go. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, please be well and please be safe.